Hello and welcome to episode 4 of LOG TV. This week we're gonna normally we've been kind of discussing some of the local tournaments and things that are going on. This week we've got to change the order. We kind of had an off week except for our high school guys, and like we said, we have a lot of high school kids that train here, and we don't always have the opportunity to bring them in. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about our worker of the week rather than wrestler of the week. And again, I'm Terry Peck. This is Sean Contos, and we're going to kind of start this week with what we call as Worker of the Week. And I think Coach has that, and we'll go from there.
So the Worker of the Week this week is going to be Gavin Chapman. So we got to ask him a question, and then we'll see how he responds to this. Okay.
Look at the camera so they can see you first. That's enough, teacher.
All right. Don't break camera.
Don't get that's bad.
All right, so during the past few weeks, we've noticed that you've been putting forth a little bit better effort, and you seem a lot more focused. And I guess that's translated into a pretty good performance at the duels last weekend from you, right? What has changed for you that has brought about this new attitude?
Well, I've just been training hard, working hard, and focusing hard, trying my best, and pushing myself in practice.
Man, that was a pretty good answer. Did your dad help you with that?
Yeah.
That's great.
How did you know? You didn't even know the question. No, you've done a really good job, probably of all the kids that we've had this week. We're going to do this on weeks when we have off. Of course, this weekend we're going to be at South Dakota State, and you're going to be there wrestling on Saturday.
I think.
Okay, so we'll get a chance to see you this weekend and see if your hard work and your attitude's paying off for you. So we appreciate it, man. All right, get to practice.
Nice job.
Okay, so like,
It's always good to have the dad's help, man.
That was fun.
That was good.
His dad must have came in and snuck in and saw what we were writing.
I don't think he could have, though. I'm pretty sure he just giving a boost to dads out there, and I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
Not crazy, Dad. Well, all right, not too crazy of a dad. So, one of the things that we're talking about is we have a lot of high school kids, and since we've only been here 5 years, our high school kids are really, really young. And, our first group went through Josh Casperson, ended up being a 2-time state champ, wrestling Division I. Regan By, 3-time state champ, wrestling Division I. Brett By, 2-time state champ, Fargo champ, Justin Haneke. And we've really kind of had that lull for a couple of years of high school kids because all of our kids are so young. Because a lot of them started from our young age are really starting to make their way through it. And I think what people forget sometimes is, in South Dakota, you can wrestle as a 7th grader, wrestle varsity. South Dakota, Minnesota, North Dakota, and New York, I think, still allows that too. And 8th grade maybe in New York.
I think it's just 8th grade. Yeah.
So, there's some really good things, and we wanted to try to talk about, and there's a lot of our high school kids that aren't here that our Iowa guys, of course, aren't here tonight, our Minnesota guys aren't here, and we'd like to talk about them all, but there's just no way that we can do it all in 20 minutes. So, kind of what we wanted to do was bring in some of our guys. They all wrestled in the DAC 12 conference this weekend, and the cool thing was, last night I went to the Canton duel while you were healing, and it was Canton versus Vermillion versus Beersford. And the first 6 weight classes in the Canton versus Vermillion duel were almost all LOG kids at one time or another that had been in and out to train. So I thought it was real cool to be able to go to that and see it. And the same with our Beersford guys and, kind of develop that piece of success. So I think what we wanted to do was start young. And, and the kid that we're going to talk about first, and you haven't had a real good chance to work with him because, he's kind of young with the high school guys, but Lucas Anglin is now an 8th grader. And he's from Vermillion. And Lucas has been with us 5 years. From pretty much the first day of practice. You were the first one here. So the thing that I like about Lucas is a year ago as a 7th grader, he was really struggling. And he came back into the room and he goes, okay, I'm not going to wrestle high school. I'm going to come in, I'm going to work out, and I'm just going to get better. And now a year later, he's ranked 4th in the state as an 8th grader. Beat the #1 ranked guy in the state twice. Got the deep voice now. Last year, talk like me. So, Lucas, I'm going to ask this question for you. And, being an 8th grader, how have you managed to find success this year so quickly at the high school level compared to a year ago?
Well, just working hard in the off season, like during the summer, and then like knowing that I was gonna wrestle varsity this year, and then working harder in practice and pushing myself.
And you were DAC 12 champ this week, right?
Yep.
And what's your record right now currently?
27-3.
27-3 as an 8th grader.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty good. Is there anything that you, between now and the state tournament, that you plan on doing differently, or are you just on course and you're ready to roll and you're just gonna go full steam ahead?
I just push myself a little bit harder in practice and tournaments and rules.
And what do you have left for tournaments?
Don't know.
Congratulations, Luke. We said he could wrestle, not that he was a good student. So, Luke, I appreciate it, man. I will see you this week. Appreciate you coming over, man. All right, all you for number 2.
All right, next we got the big guy in, Nick Casperson.
Hello, Nick. Hey, it's a pleasure to see you.
Okay. Okay, so after your past accomplishments in high school, but still not getting the ultimate goals that you wanted, what do you plan to do differently to make this postseason everything that you want it to be?
Well, so far what's worked for me this year is lifting hard, and really the main thing is my mindset before my matches. Last year I was always going in nervous, worrying about how to not lose, and this year I'm going in worrying how I should win, how to win the match, not how to keep from losing. So.
And what grade are you in right now, Nick?
I'm a sophomore.
So he's only a sophomore. So you're going for your first state title you hoop this year.
Yep.
Now the funny part is, like, we're talking about young. Nick is another one of our young guys, but he was the state place winner as a 7th grader at 106.
Yep.
And then what were you that year? 7th.
Yeah.
And then what were you as an 8th grader?
126.
126. And what'd you place?
I placed 7th.
7th. And then last year you were a freshman.
Yep.
And you wrestled what?
152.
And
I got 6.
and this year you are
170.
170, wrestling 182 sometimes,
Yep.
and undefeated on the season, right?
Yep.
So I'm anticipating by talking to you, your goal is to win a state title, BOW, and be undefeated. I like it, man. I like it. All right, Nick, I appreciate it. And Nick, tell them what high school you're from.
Beershire High School.
All right, man. I'll see you later. Thanks, Nick. Well, they don't have weights tomorrow. We had weights today.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. How do I get this one, dude?
It's your boy.
That's uncalled for. So the next person we want to talk about is Dakota Galt. Dakota Galt is a junior, and he's from Beersford as well. And Dakota moved here a couple years ago from Fargo. As a freshman, Dakota was undefeated, state champ, never lost a match. State champ last year. So this year he's going for his 3rd state title. And so you're on track to be a four-time state champ. And that's kind of what most people dream about, getting high school, being a 4-time state champ, going to college. But the thing that people don't know about you is, as good as you are in folk style, you're very well versed in freestyle and Greco. So what I want to ask you is how you feel, if any, that freestyle or Greco helps you in the folk style.
Well, it definitely helps me a lot because freestyle and Greco teaches you better position and how to be in more positions and where rolling around, and where folk style can't really teach you that. And it also teaches you just stay calm in a match, because one move here or there will put you right back into the match.
Absolutely. And I know you and I were talking earlier, and I think the other thing is that kind of like we were talking about is by going to junior duels and going to Fargo, it's in the summer it's really easy to get into this lull. And we've got to talk about, if you're just going to camps, if you're just going to practice, you get in this lull. But by having big competitions, you have to keep yourself competition ready. And that really puts you ahead, like we were talking, it puts you ahead of the game when the high school state tournament comes. So I know that, this year you're starting to be called by some colleges and talking to some colleges, And how do you feel about that? We don't want you to name those colleges. So what do you feel like? What so far? Do you feel like you're on track to be able to go to college or also Division I, Division II, or what do you think about where you're at in the process?
Well, I mean, I definitely placing at Fargo this summer will be a big one for that, but I feel like I'm getting there. I mean, I had a couple setbacks this year, but like just the way I'm wrestling and feeling good, I feel like I'm ready for it. But I have to keep progressing as I'm going.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Good luck. See you. Are you coming out to work out tomorrow?
Tonight.
Okay, tonight.
And tomorrow morning.
Uh-huh. All right.
All right, last we got Carter Kratz.
We saved the band of brothers for last.
Okay, so obviously multi-sport athlete, and you've had some success in all those sports. How are you able to achieve in more than just wrestling, multiple sports, have some success, and scholastically as well? How do you balance all of that together?
Well, like you said, balance. I like balancing it out in the summer. Baseball is my main sport, and then in the summer is when it's really going. And then I like to come to camp whenever I can, and then when I gotta go for baseball, I go for baseball. And then football is just kind of a fun fall sport that I like to do. But I like the challenges that all sports give me, and I don't know, I just like it.
And I think that's the big misconception that we talk about. Is like everybody thinks, oh, if you go to Log, if you go to Pinnacle, if you go to Perler, if you go to Ironman, if you go into these big elite clubs, you can only do wrestling. And you can't be good at wrestling if you only do wrestling. But the nice thing is about Carter is when he's going and playing baseball in the summer, he's still finding time to get in the wrestling room. Once a week, a couple, 2 or 3 camps a summer, days that he can make. And I think that is really important for people out there to realize that it's okay to do multiple things.
Absolutely.
And you can still have success doing it multiple, because you're what grade this year?
Junior.
So young too, and you placed in state last year what?
4th at 145.
And this year you're wrestling?
160.
And you're wrestle for Vermilion.
Yep.
So right down the road. And so you're DAC 12 champ this week. So I think it's really important that people, and convincing performances last night as well when I came over and watched you in Canton, in Beersford. So I think that the thing, Carter, that I admire about you is that you're able to put all those things on the table, because not everybody can.
Sure.
And then when they don't have success, they try to blame one particular thing. I blame baseball, I blame wrestling, I blame football. And they have to understand is you may not get 100% of all those things, because your main sport's baseball, and you're probably going to go to baseball, or you're probably going to go to college and play baseball and get a college scholarship. So, I think it's important, and I appreciate you kind of letting people know that you can do multiple things and still find success in it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun having that break between sports, and it's just
Yeah, and I like it. And so, that's a huge misconception that you don't feel with that. So guys, we're going to let you go. And I will see you guys in a few days, in a week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, man. Appreciate you guys coming over. Who drove you over? All right. Be careful on the way back.
You got it.
Good luck the rest of the season, too.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. I don't know what time it's going to be, because we're trying to cut it a little short tonight, but we have our cameraman.
6:22.
Okay, so we got about 6-7 minutes. We want to finish this up. But, I think it's important with our high school kids. I mean, like I said, Corey Van Oort is a freshman. He's ranked 8th in state. Kyler Reek is a freshman ranked in state. Husby's ranked in state, only a sophomore or junior. You got Beach. All these other young kids that are ranked in state that are finding training throughout the year. And I really like the idea that we can share some of those stories with people, because we don't get a chance to do that.
Well, I think a good thing that we did today actually was you see someone like Dakota Golf, who wrestles all year long, when he does freestyle and Greco, and then someone like Carter come in and who does wrestling during wrestling season, and like you said, he makes it when he can during his main sport, baseball, during that time. So you can see people that have success do kind of 2 different paths, but it's really important to know that these guys are young men still. They're not in college. They're not focused on, you know, what is happening, you know, career wise. They're having fun playing sports, and that's really important for people to know that you can take either avenue. You know, if you're, you know, just wrestling's fun and it's a game, and we take it very seriously, you know, a lot of the times. But I'd like to have the diversity of those two types of individuals in here.
Right.
You know, that's real important.
And you know, and Carter is a kid that pursues in baseball. If he comes down to baseball and wrestling, he chooses baseball because that's his sport. And I think that's really the part that probably irritates me the most about people.
Yeah.
Burn out this, burn out that. Well, you know what? If a kid loves something, they usually don't get burned out from it.
Sure.
Losing will burn you out faster than anything because people don't like to lose.
Absolutely.
And when you do lose, the easiest avenue is to say, especially in individual sport, can't blame anybody else.
Sure.
Didn't pass me the ball, you didn't hand it off correctly, you fumbled, you missed a free throw. Well, in wrestling, you know, the only way that you get better is for you individually to do the work.
Sure. And I think a good way to prevent burnout too, especially for these young kids, if they are going to wrestle all year round, is the switch from folk style to freestyle and Greco. That is a whole nother game. So now, you know, like I know it happened for me that way, and I would wrestle 12 months a year, and I feel pretty good about these guys and the kids that I coached at Penn State, you know, and Iowa State, same thing. When it switches from folk style season to freestyle Greco season, it's kind of like another fire lit. So now it's a whole nother thing. It's not the same thing. It kind of gets your juices flowing again, right. You know, and so that kind of helps with the burnout thing. You know, by the end of a long season, some kids might be tired, but now you get your 2 days or 3 days off, and man, it's freestyle time.
Kids get burned out from the pressure.
Sure.
I mean, the pressure from coaches, the pressure from parents, and I think it's important that coaches realize that they're the role model for these kids.
Sure.
So you have to look at a kid and you got to say, man, that kid's tired, he's frustrated, and then you got to be able to change up every individual. People aren't the same.
Right.
And I think that's a key to coaching that you and I have talked about at every level. When you and I coached together in college,
sure.
After that, I mean, we had to keep our college guys on the same page. We treat our young guys just like them.
Right.
You know, and when you see something wrong, you address it, and it's not the same. No, and we were going to talk about the Eimar-Nolf match, and we probably aren't going to do that tonight because, you know, our camps are done. And, you know, now all of our camps are booked except for our lights out system, but all of our technique camps and all of our intensive camps are booked. Yes. And they're in with all of our clinicians. So what we want to do is basically talk about a camp a week. We're going to do it shortly because every Monday we're going to put out about a 4 to 5 minute infomercial, so to speak, on each individual camp. And so our feature camp of the week, I'm going to let you do all the talking about it, is our scramble camp and chain camp with ourselves, of course, the rest of our staff, which are all college coaches, and Coach Fretwell.
Cliff Fretwell from the compound is coming in. He pretty much invented the scramble camp chain. And so he's going to come in here and he's going to do continuous wrestling for us. He is a head technician at the compound. He's been on Flow Wrestling a lot. I mean, most of you guys have probably seen him there. He's doing the compound clothing and flips headphones stuff, and he's in with David Taylor. Those guys are running that company now, and he's really good, and he's got a lot of passion for the sport, and that's kind of what we want around the kids. You know, people who love wrestling, who are bringing a good message to people. They're good dudes. He's kind of a character, and that makes me really like him. But he's a real good dude, and he does love wrestling. And so we're going to bring him in here and have him work with our guys on, you know, leg passes and just continuous wrestling. And that is a huge, huge facet of the sport that we need to make sure that we're getting better at. And for someone like him to come in and work with us, we're really fortunate to have him.
Really excited. And what are the dates of that camp?
That's going to be I think it's July 10th through the 14th.
10th through the 14th. And the cool thing is, you know, like I said, the week-long camps.
Yeah.
$300, all your room, board, you know, 3 meals a day, housing in the dorm, 40 acres. You know, they have activity nights. They're playing sand volleyball. They're playing some basketball, some ultimate frisbee, soccer. You know, we want camp to be about learning, but also when kids leave here, we want them to say, man, that was a good time. I want to go back.
Sure. you know, you see some of these camps around the country, and they're very good camps as well. But you paying $400 or $500 for kids, eating peanut butter and jelly 3 meals a day,
Sleeping on wrestling
the mats, and that's tough. It's tough, Obviously, you want to get in there with the best competition you can and work with good partners and stuff and get good coaching, and that's kind of what we're doing by providing camps like this with Coach Brett Well. But we're giving you a bed and 3 nice meals a day and a place to play and stuff like that too. So you work hard, you play hard, you get to sleep in a nice warm room.
Yeah, rather than
wrestling
mats with 70 guys on it.
Sure.
So I think kind of where we're at for this week is we just wanted to introduce some of our high school guys. And more importantly, get our camps flowing. And they're up for registration. You actually register for camps now. All of our camps are limited to 100 kids. And I think that's important. You go to Minnesota, and I love J-Rob, and I love University of Iowa. I've worked at camps in Nebraska with Tim Newman. But you're in there with 400 kids and 10 coaches. The difference is here is 100 kids. They're split by age. So you're about 40 to 50 a session. And you got 8 to 9 coaches in each session. And they're NCAA champions. They're current college coaches. And I think that's the piece that makes us the thing that stands out. Because, we want to give people a chance to come to wrestling and do it economically. Last year we had 18 states on campus: California, Florida, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Washington, Ohio, Texas. You name it, we had guys on campus last year. One from New York. So, I think it's important to see that, that there's a diversity of training.
Sure.
And that we're definitely hoping to have a great summer again this year. And registration's open, and we hope you go sign up.
Sign up. It's going to be awesome.
And I think we're out for today. This will be able to be replayed on our YouTube channel now. And on the YouTube channel, it will have names, dates, times, all flashed in because now I'm a media wonder. Okay, not. But it's good. Go to our YouTube channel. Legends of Gold.